Hey folks, this is Dan Keffler here. I just wanted to show you a new prototype knife that I finished up recently and give you guys a little bit of an overview on this piece, some of its history and how I came across, developed it, worked with design from my customer, and went from there. So enjoy. So here's a knife that I've just finished up. This is a prototype, and this knife is a custom order from a customer of mine who had some specific requests. He is a practitioner for PTK Knife. It's a Filipino knife martial arts, knife fighting. But he plans on going over to the Philippines and practicing with this knife, but also using it in the jungle as a machete. So it needed to have some certain characteristics. Now he wanted to combine Japanese style blade more with a handle and the maneuverability of a Filipino style knife. And so his idea, and we talked quite a bit about this, this is actually his drawing that he sent to me, and then I took and made the piece, and we changed some things along the way. As you can see, some of the progression in the handle changed from the end result. This was actually a prototype part of the handle, and it just didn't have the security that I was comfortable with when I'd cut with it or worked with it. So I changed up the handle a lot more like what you would see on a traditional Filipino knife. The blade steel is CPM 3V. It's heat treated by Peter's Heat Treat, cryoed. The Rockwell hardness is about 61 on this. So some of the interesting characteristics about this knife is that the blade shape is actually what we call, for a Japanese style blade, is a Shobuzakuri blade, and it's shaped in another way. Like this is called a motohaba, from this part to this part, from the spine to the edge. It's shaped like a naginata blade, which is like a Japanese spear sword, or a large blade at the end of a spear. To get the weight that we wanted to and the balance point that we wanted to, I took 3V at about 2/70 thousandths, roughly a little over 1/4 inch, and then I had to grind and distal taper, and at the widest point down here, it's down to under 3/16. It's actually 1.78 versus 1.78, and distal tapered quite a bit, and that put the balance point right at this point right here, which is where on the drawing he was specified where he wanted it. And so we've had many phone conversations going back and forth regarding what the logistics were. This is, you're combining a spear-shaped blade with a sword-shaped blade with a, from Japanese style, with the working capability of a machete and a Filipino martial arts blade. So there's quite a few variables that I had to work out while making this blade. You can see, I started off a lot with basically just taking the drawing and making a copy and then just cutting the profile, and this gave me an idea of how the blade would feel in the hand, roughly, and gave me a template to work off of while I was working the steel. So yeah, that's just, I'll get over here so we can see the handle design. He wanted this back lanyard hold as well as the, so you can see the handle construction here. The handle material is Taro Tough. Pretty much my favorite handle material right now for hard use or just no nonsense handle material. Very grippy, very tough. Good wet grip, so if you sweat other fluids, blood, or water, just anything gets on there, it still has a really good grip. One of the best I've ever used. Because the handle was a full tank construction like this, and then I wanted to change it, I actually worked out some of the steel and then inserted this part right here, so that filled in so that I could actually develop this bill hook here and distribute the weight more evenly throughout the palm, this hypothenar part, this lower part of the hand. So yeah, that's that. Just kind of go across here so you can see the transitions. Alright, so specs wise, the knife weighs about 1.5 pounds. Balance point is right here. The length, it's about a 19-inch blade. The handle is about a little over 5 inches. So almost about 5.5 inches if you're counting to this point right here. It's always interesting to see where people consider the handle stopping and the blade starting, you know, versus the cutting edge, obviously, for the sharpening choil. I would measure it from there, but then you end up with this whole area which was like traditionally, I mean, Western, known as a ricazo, but this blade doesn't really have a ricazo. Kind of an interesting terminology depending on who you're talking to. Let's see, any other things like weight, overall length, everything. So I took this blade out before I fully finished it and did some cutting, and so I'm going to connect that video here, and should be able to see that shortly. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Alright, let's see how this knife does. A little bit of brush clearing. Alright. Got a spider on my eye. Alright, there we go. More there. Turn this one up. This is a pretty thick piece here. I don't know how it'll do with this one. There we go. There we go. Alright. Okay, so we got a couple bigger pieces here. Actually not that much bigger, but they're pretty tall trees. I gotta make sure when I cut them they don't fall on the camera. So almost fell on the camera. Alright. This isn't a terribly hard wood. You can see by the growth rings that it's a pretty light wood, but it's still a pretty good sized chunk. Pretty satisfied with that. That's not too bad. Let's see how this other tree goes. Do a backhand with this one. Oh, didn't quite get through it. Oh, again. There we go. There we go. A little bit of lateral force on the knife. Doesn't seem to have a problem with that. There we go. Let's just cut that one down. Let's try this again. There we go. We're getting pretty good penetration. Not bad. Turn this piece up. There we go. Alright. Go over here, clear this limb out of the trail. And there you go. Seems like it's performing pretty good. Okay, so this tree is about 3-4 inches in diameter. We'll chop it down with this knife. Thought I got through. It should be, yeah, not quite through. But there we go. Yeah, I just didn't get through on the back side. There we go. So, it wasn't too bad. Probably, I mean, the first couple of cuts almost made it all the way through. Just this last part held on. Okay. Move the rest of this tree up. Get rid of some of these limbs. There we go. So that's pretty good penetration. Come back and just clear that chip. And then just finish it off. Pinching down, turn it over. There we go. Yeah, not a very good hit. There we go. Alright, get out of the mosquitoes. Okay, a couple empty bottle cuts, see how this goes. Alright, not bad. We can get that one again. Stand there. And another slice off it. A water bottle. Set that up. Backhand's fine. Good. We get a little, get some water in a Gatorade bottle, see what we can do. And that was that cut. I still got it, but you can see I rotated out. Just finish it off. Dirt off of it. Finish it off. There we go. Up with the backhand. Yep. So that bottle. There we go. Alright. Now let's make things a little more difficult. We got some cherry wood here. Let's see if we can. There we go. Stick that. Stand. Trim that up a little bit. see. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut this. I mean, cherry wood is some pretty hard, it's pretty dense wood. Lemon's pretty good, but it's a good section right here. And the blade is over about 1.5 inches wide. So let's see if we can get this. All right, there you go. Come back. And I stuck right in the knot area. Yeah. A little finish. Just come back with the backhand right in front of the camera. There we go. And then I don't want to hit the bar. Alright. We'll throw this piece in there. There we go. And I'm going to go at this top part. It's kind of springy. See if I can actually cut it before it jumps out of the way. Nope. So, actually, look, got through most of it, just this last part. And just push that off. Yeah. So the blade, the cool thing about 3B, I can twist and pry. This is quite a bit denser than what I was cutting earlier. And and it holds up really well to that. Let's cut through here, make sure I don't hit my leg. There we go. Alright. Okay, so I got the stand back on. I didn't want the video to stop because I wanted to go right into cutting some more empty bottles just to see that the edge obviously didn't have any problems from being cut. I'm just gonna clean off the residue from the wood a little bit. So, once again, apologize. My camera's having some issues. It's stopped on me automatically. But, so let's go back to, here's a Coke bottle with water in it. Stand it on its cap. Why not? Just do flat cut. Couple washers off of that. Set it up here empty. Let's see how this goes. Stay there. I'm gonna just sit there. Yep. Not all the way around it. These Gatorade bottles are always a little bit tougher actually. This one's empty. Stand on its cap. Why not? Got it. Set it up one more time. Go. And last bottle of the day, a little bit of water on the bottom of it. Not a great cut. I got all the way through it. There we go. Just gonna cut it one more time. Hey, they got part of my. There. That's all the cardboard. So, all right. Thanks.